Welcome to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man. Live from Studio C at media stations in Bohemia, New York.
And good evening and welcome to the Business Power Hour. I would be Norman Wasserman, also known as the Music Man Wasserman. And
Isn't that a good one,
that's
Music
a new one.
Man?
Just hit me, Music Man Wasserman. My first name, Music Man, last name Wasserman.
Yeah, there you
Lisa
go.
Rodino, let's say hello to everybody.
Hey, hello, everyone. How's everyone tonight?
Fine, thank you. Nice to talk to you, Lisa.
Oh, very good, Norman. Good for you to respond to the audience for me. Thank you.
How was your week? Were you in
It's
town
been
this week?
busy.
I mean, town being in Pennsylvania, or where were you traveling this week?
This week I am in Pennsylvania, but we're going to be away for the Passover and Days of Unleavened Bread. So I'll be heading down to Charlotte pretty soon.
Well, they don't have any of that stuff down in Charlotte?
Oh, sure they do.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Was there a reason you're going to Charlotte? That's your family, right?
That's family. There's an upcoming wedding. And as far as this week, it's the Days of Unleavened Bread, Passover. And then the following week after the last day of Unleavened Bread, we'll be heading down to the Charlotte area.
What do you use in replace of the unleavened bread?
We use matzahs.
Oh, so
And I
you do eat
actually
matzah.
have a recipe to make pitas out of unleavened dough.
Well, I make the best matzah bread ever.
Yeah.
Like all different kinds of flavors and stuff. Now, here we got this nice Irish Catholic girl sitting, say right over there, who has no idea what we're talking about. And neither does probably
actually,
90%.
my stepson is Jewish, so a little bit.
All right, so there you go. And Easter's coming right up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. All right, now you're not supposed to say anything, Katie, until we introduce you. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Wellington, Florida, we have the lovely Miss Katie Corum. Hey, Katie, from SOAR HR Consulting. Let's give it up for Katie.
Hi, Katie. Welcome.
How's everyone doing?
Well, you got a standing ovation.
Yep.
They're not sitting down here for you. Wow, that's
Thank
great.
you for that.
That's good stuff. Okay, well, welcome to
Happy to be
our
here.
event and our little Tuesday night on Monday night.
Yes.
This week only. Next week
Yes.
we'll be back on Tuesdays with also a terrific guest. Katie, you happen to be in the human resource field, and I guess you've been there a while. Well, let's go back in history a little bit with you, and let's discuss why you got into HR and what you're doing, and if that's your main thing in life that you wanted to do, or maybe you wanted to be a nurse or an attorney, whatever. Tell us a little about Katie.
Yes. So I am first generation American. My parents are from the old sod, as they call Ireland. Grew up with four brothers in the Midwest in Cleveland. And, for me, I always knew that I liked working with people and I liked helping people. I grew up volunteering since I was probably 7 years old. So I knew I wanted to be doing something. And when we migrated down here to Florida, it was kind of funny because little did I know it would reflect later in life, but early 1990s, everybody's moving down from Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. And I was kind of like the welcome wagon in a weird way. As all these new students are coming in, I was like, oh, hi, like I'll be your friend. And, it didn't matter. Somebody's a jock, somebody's a cheerleader,
And they were all
somebody's
going to
this and that.
Florida? Is that where everyone congregated?
Yes. I mean, it's still, everybody's
So
still
how
moving
did-
to Florida.
How did you end up going to Florida so early? Was it your parents relocated you?
My parents, my parents
got
and my
that too.
brothers. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but I couldn't be a nurse. I mean, I wish I could because my mother's mother, my grandmother was a nurse for 40 years. God
Wow.
bless her. And I would have loved to have done that, but I see the sight of blood. I get a little weak at the knees, so that just wasn't in the cards for me.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if she's on the call tonight, but a friend of the family, Diana Murphy, she was actually a senior when I was a freshman. And what happened is her parents, also from Ireland, talked my parents into sending me. And I at first wanted to like kick and scream and not go that direction. Iowa, I'm like, what? Although half of my friends here thought I was going to Idaho, you know, thinking potatoes. No, this is
I have
corn.
to ask a question.
Yeah,
You made it known now that you have Irish descent and you have
yeah.
relatives here. Mulligatawny soup. Did you ever have it?
I've never even heard of that one.
Ask
Oh
some of your
no.
older relatives about mulligatawny soup. In New York, we have a lot of Irish restaurants, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I used to go to this one Irish restaurant when I had my office in Manhattan quite often. And it was like right off the boat, Irish. And they made this mulligatawny soup once a week. It's
Oh,
like a vegetable potato beef soup. And
nice.
has this unbelievable taste, which has nothing to do with this conversation.
No, no, it's okay.
Were job, but
Not
I
a
just
thing.
figured
Potato leek. I've had potato leek, but not
totally different.
mulligatawny.
Two
Yeah.
different colors. One's brownish red, the other one's white. Not in the
Hmm.
same league. Just totally. They're both very good, but that's it. Okay, so now you Idaho, Florida. Let's continue.
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa too.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it in a nutshell with regards to the service. I just always knew that I liked working with people. I wanted to help people, but how was I going to go about that? And I, you know, went to Briarcliff, a small little liberal arts Catholic college in Sioux City, Iowa. I actually originally wanted to go into occupational therapy, but changed my major at the end of my sophomore year and decided HR. Diana Murphy, who I was just referring to, she actually went into HR, and I started talking to her, started talking to some business majors, and I thought, this is it. This is what I want to do. And so I changed my major at the end of sophomore year and never looked back.
So what did your major become?
I had a bachelor's of arts in human resource management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you I was also in the HR field for 30 plus years. I was
That's
on the other.
amazing.
I was the person that the people like you would deal with to hire people. I was a recruiter.
Nice.
That's what we
Nice.
were all about.
And I was in the medical field doing temp service all over the country,
Mm.
skipping out on the HR side of things for a while.
All right, so you've been
Yeah.
in human resource. I guess now it's about 20 years. What kind of industries did you work on beforehand, or where have you been in human resource? What kind of industries?
Well, actually, I started my first job out of college was through a temp agency, and they put me working for the county in a purchasing department. I'm like, no. And nowadays, I think of that movie from Tommy Boy. A lot of people go to college and get a degree, but you know, don't end up utilizing it and going into that field a few years after. I'm like, no, that's not going to be me. And within just under a year, I ended up leaving there, and I got a job with a healthcare company, Shands Hospital, affiliated with.
So it was a hospital you did the HR work in?
Yeah, well, the home care division.
The home
Yeah,
care.
so I was working out of
Oh.
Boca Raton, West Palm Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've worked healthcare. I have worked in academia. I have worked telecom, media, garbage, waste management.
So
Did you say
where was
garbage?
your favorite place?
Ooh, I would probably say when I was working for a fiber optics company called Qterra, which got acquired by Nortel Networks. That was umpteen years ago. But to this day, I am still friends with quite a large amount of people who I worked with. We grew in a matter of 10 months from 175 employees to 550.
Wow.
Whoa.
So I kind of like early in my career, like, you know, I kind of love that. Sometimes I jokingly say I have like a little bit of adult ADD. Like I have to be doing something. And I loved the craziness of it. And it's like, okay, let's get it done. Bing, bang, boom.
Oh,
And
don't your kids drive you crazy?
what?
Don't your kids drive you crazy?
Sure.
Well, you said
I
you
mean,
like the
anybody
craziness, right?
could, but I mean, they're awesome. I love my stepson and my daughter and my husband, and he makes a mean Cole Cannon. Just saying, we just had St. Patty's Day parade. But okay, I'm coming
What
off
is
the
a
Irish
cool
thing.
cannon?
Cole Cannon. It's like mashed potatoes, but it's like a Cracker Jack box with the prize in the center. He'd put the little bacon pieces and the cabbage pieces
Oh,
in the
that's
mashed
nice.
potatoes. So good.
That's
I
nice.
know.
Oh,
We'll
that's
I
talk
an
about
love
later.
shepherd's
interesting.
pie. Shepherd pie. This is gonna be a food show tonight.
I know, it's
Yes.
right.
Shepherd's pie
Mm,
is the best.
Yeah,
yeah.
so, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
That,
you've been in telecom, and then you went to media, and then were in academia, and you've been in publishing, and then
Waste
healthcare.
management.
You loved healthcare,
mhm.
right? Absolutely loved healthcare and hospitality. Now, the
Yes.
hospitality industry, as well as healthcare, kind of, well, healthcare not so much, but hospitality kind of took a deep dive, for a number of
A big
years,
struggle.
as
Yeah.
Yeah.
my business had done, being in the entertainment business. So,
Hmm.
we were lost, we were gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Were you in hospitality back during COVID?
No, I
Good.
actually, I stepped out of a director of HR role, took a big pay cut because I wanted to have the ability to work from home because I had a little one. I just got married. A year later, we had a daughter,
Hmm.
and um, I didn't want to be in the office all the time. And there's no such thing at that time, right before COVID, of directors of HR being able to work remotely.
Right.
And so I ended up taking a job with a PEO, and I've worked for two other PEO, professional employment organizations. So,
You want to
the
explain to
companies,
people what, I mean, I know because
yeah,
I converted one. I converted a
yeah.
PEO to a
So,
regular firm.
Um, a lot of people might be familiar with ADP as a payroll company. ADP
Yep.
has another division, a PEO division called ADP Total Source. So it's not just
Uh,
payroll, it's payroll, HR, benefits, workers' comp, legal. It's the whole kit and caboodle. And so I've worked for ADP Total Source for a short stint, and then I ended up working for a company called Jebity, who was acquired by TriNet for 5.5 years. And I also worked for a company called Oasis Outsourcing, which was acquired by Paychex. So I was working with them. I had a little one. COVID came, and our daughter had just turned 2, and 2 months later, COVID's here. We had to take her out of daycare, and needless to say, it was a challenge for everybody. I mean, I didn't talk too much
mhm.
about it publicly online, just because there's doctors and nurses and teachers out there, and it's like, please, like, there's people that have it so much worse, like,
Right.
so, but I literally had her in my lap, taking care of her while I was on Zoom calls, trying to get like 50, 60 companies through COVID. And I will not forget this, but I was in the middle of benefits open enrollment with the C-suite executives of all my clients. And, that's where you're talking to them about their benefits plans and,
Hmm.
what's the renewal and blah, blah, blah. It's a very important call. And, we tried to be on Zoom, and my daughter was 2 in diapers. And I'm on this call, and literally the outlet plugs are right next to me over my shoulder. And all of a sudden I hear this trickle, and I look over, and she was like tinkling right next to the outlet. So I'm
Nice.
like, oh my God. Didn't want my little one to be electrocuted, but yeah. So everybody's had those challenges, during
Mm,
Some
COVID.
more than others.
yes.
Yeah, national news. Like,
Right.
they got kids coming in the office when they're on national news. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's
It
all
was
good.
Yes.
different. It was
There were
So it
interesting.
plenty of
was a
stories.
yeah, so it ended up being a blessing in more ways than one when I was able to get that job to work remotely so that I'd have that time
Hmm.
to be able to take care of her and be working. So
One
it was
thing.
bananas.
One thing we didn't ask you, which is, well, I'm going to have you mention it now, is the name of your company, because the name of your
Yes.
company really speaks about you and what you're
Yes.
like and what your personality is all like, and it's really a pleasure to have you on the show. You are
Thank
one
you.
again.
Hmm.
You are one of
Happy to
our
be here.
network buddies that
Yeah.
Yep.
Lisa and I deal with, and Lisa and I meet some of the nicest, most professional people, and we
Absolutely.
find it even more.
Oh,
We know so
yeah.
That's
much
awesome.
about you from the network world, but there's so much more that we never get to, which we get to on here. So tell us how
Yeah.
you picked the word SOAR. Is it initials that you put together? What is
Yes.
it?
So my husband's gonna laugh at me, but yeah. So I named the company initially. I named it Resourceful HR Consulting. I was doing the whole play on
That's
words,
nice.
and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to spell that out for the rest of my life. I just married a Welshman, and it's so much easier to pronounce and spell my name. So I'm like, I gotta change it. So I changed it to SOAR HR Consulting, and the SOAR stands for Strategizing Optimal Achievable Results. And for me, I wanted to have
nice.
like a little symbolism. I'm a little cliche and corny sometimes. So for me, I ended up putting a gold dove, and I purposely put it at the front of my company name because for me, I was working 20 plus years for corporate America, working at various companies, going through downsizings, layoffs, restructurings, the whole lot. And I as well was impacted by those too. But I just, I was so lucky and fortunate. I prayed for many years and I ended up getting married in my 40s, had a daughter in my 40s.
How old?
We're not going to say, you're not
No,
supposed to
you
ask,
just said in
Norm.
your 40s. You
You
look
don't
like
ask
you're about.
ladies
My
that.
You
stepson,
look like
you
you're
know,
20 something years
and
old.
they're amazing. And,
Really?
it's all blessings. But for me, I was the workaholic because I loved helping people. But it's like, oh, just one more email. Oh, just let me do this. And it's like, no. And it's like I'm working on not being that person anymore after all those years of giving so much. Now it's balancing amongst it all. I'm still a work in progress. But for me, it's like having that gold dove is my husband and my stepson and my daughter, and making sure that that bird is at the forefront is where I look at it every day and remind myself. So yeah, once in a blue moon, I might have to do a networking event, once or twice a month, but it's like I try to do it during the day if I can, and just working with businesses to do what I
Okay, now
can.
2022 is when you started SOAR.
Yes,
That's a
yes.
pretty strange time to start a business, right?
Well, what's funny? I actually, I had taken the big pay cut, had gone into the PEO world because I had the ability to work remotely. But for me, I was kind of missing who my true essence was. And the word that kept coming to mind was thrive. What makes you thrive? And it kept on my heartstrings. And I'm like, you know what? I want to be back on the front line. I want to make change happen. I don't like, that I'm kind of part of the process, but I'm not the one who's able to like, let's get it, grab the ball, let's run, boom. And so I started interviewing. I got a job at a nonprofit museum as a chief people officer, got in there, rocking and rolling, implemented trainings, redid contracts, benefits, enhanced them, beautified them, got excited, helped employees improve their total compensation package. And then I was out, within 90 days. And I was like, whoa. And the woman who was retiring came back into the role. So all good. But everything, I know, again, cliche and corny, everything in life happens for a reason.
Heather Williams.
What was that?
I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have that.
Oh, I think we're getting a phone call. Let's find out if this is for us or I shouldn't answer it. Okay, well, it kind of like disappeared. All right, she'll call back. Go ahead. Continue.
So yeah, so everything happens for a purpose and a reason. And then within a matter of weeks, I joined a women's prayer group. We were only 3 weeks into it, and I literally finally started my company after 7 years of talking about it, thinking about it. My older brother busted my chops about, Liam's been saying for years, you should start your own, you should start your own. I'm like, yeah. So I finally did it.
Oh, good for you.
So
Excellent.
yeah.
Good for you.
Yep. Yes,
Now
very
take a
good.
pause just
So I
one
want to help
second.
others so they don't wait 7 years,
Because we're gonna
Right.
do this a few times tonight. But tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, Katie.
Oh, well, I have my website, www.soar-hr.com. You can also get a hold of me at 1-800-684-7784. And then also my email is Katie, Katie, .corum, CORUM, at SOAR, SOAR, -HR.com.
Can you repeat your phone number just one more time?
Yes, 1-800-684-7784.
Let's go. We've had people on here who forgot their phone number, so this is good that you remembered all of that.
Oh,
Good
well,
stuff.
thank you for reminding me too, Norman. I
It's
appreciate it.
my pleasure. So tell us some of the services that you provide with SOAR.
Sure. So it's an eclectic mix because I've worked both for PEO outsourcing companies and then I've worked for corporate America for many corporations. So everything from employee relations, doing the investigations when issues come up, employee handbooks, training and development, organizational management, employee engagement, negotiating benefits. Um, yeah, kind of a little bit of everything. Performance management. I don't know if I said that. I might have said that. But yeah, an eclectic mix of many things that I can do. And if I can't, I definitely will refer out or partner with other HR consultants in the
Well,
community.
what haven't you touched? I mean, you seem like
Oh
you.
gosh,
I'm
there's
reading
so
here my
much.
notes. It seems like you've covered all your bases.
There's so
Now,
much.
do you do the potential hiring or the interviews for the clients that you're working for?
Yes,
source?
I can. Yes, I
Uh-huh.
can do recruiting. It's funny though, just because it's one of the few things that I have done in my career, recruiting and payroll.
Mhm.
And it's so tough nowadays. Companies trying to find good candidates. So can I do it? Yes. We'll say that. It's one of the many, but I think I like being more on the front end, working with CEOs and C-suite to find out like, hey, what's keeping you up at night? Let's have
Right.
a conversation. What
Mhm.
are your challenges? Because sometimes being that person on the other side of that desk and in listening to what they're saying and engaging with
Mhm.
them and asking some questions, I'm able to offer some insight from an outside perspective of potential solutions, but also to potentially offer some other ideas. Sometimes it might be based on company size, it might be based on budget. So I'll plant the seeds if it's not something that they might want at that time. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, yep, that definitely maybe another 3 or 6 months.
Right.
But let's focus on this one right now. So yeah.
Question for
Interesting.
you: do you know
Sorry,
someone by the name of Kelly Baxter?
Kelly Baxter. I know Kelly Merbler. I think
Okay,
Baxter was her
Baxter
maiden
was her
name.
middle name. So
Yeah.
if you're listening, Kelly, number one, I apologize to you because I didn't get to pull the trigger real fast. So if you can call
Um,
back, we would love to hear from you. So the
yeah.
phone number is
Kelly's awesome.
631-987-8477, or anybody else can call 631-987-8477. I have my
I
phone
should
now right in front of me, so I'll
I
be
should be
able to
like Vanna
hit that
White. If
button.
there's a number here on the screen.
Yes, there's a number that was on the screen. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So
Yes.
let's keep going. So you've
Yeah.
covered all these bases. What do you enjoy best about your job? Is it a couple of different areas, or which one do you despise?
Oh, there's his
Oh, hold it. Here
phone.
you come.
Hang on.
Oh, that's it's fun.
Good evening and welcome to the Business Power Hour. Who can I ask is calling?
Whoop. Oh
Hey
my
there, my
dog.
name, I'm not Kelly.
No, you're not. But you sound like a guy by the name of Jim Carrey. Does that sound right?
I don't say that together
I
very
gotta get the
often.
All
dog.
right.
I get disappointing looks.
All right. Well, just tell us all about why you're calling.
Yeah, I'm just calling because I just wanted to really support Katie. I had the opportunity to meet her recently through a networking organization that we both kind of just stumbled upon each other. And it was just so refreshing to talk with her about what she's doing because you talk to so many companies and like she said, whether it's a PEO, or even a bigger company, they have their own agenda. They have their own bag of tricks, if you will, and benefits that they push all the time. But having somebody that I could speak with that was so open to having a lot of different things that she could bring to the table, maybe putting them together from different suppliers, I thought was super innovative. It was super customer friendly. And like she was just saying just now, where it's like, hey, I've got this component. Maybe I don't need that right now, but it's here. I want you to know about it. And it was just a pleasure to meet her. And I just wanted to get on and just support her because she was a super person to meet.
She
Thank
has
you,
that.
Jim.
That's the reason why I had asked her to be on the show. She had just has this charming way about her, and she's so professional, even when she's just being herself. It's not like she's
Thank
putting on
you.
any air. She's just a great young lady. And
Thank
Jim,
you. Appreciate
I know you probably don't want to mention the company that you're with, but what position do you hold?
I'm actually a CEO and founder of a company that, and again, I want this to be about her, so I'm not going to promote my company. But notwithstanding that, we provide a certain segment of benefits to businesses that we work with channel partners like Katie to be able to bring again that toolkit of I don't do this necessarily, but I know this company that does, and we're working together to see how we can fit that into what she might have to offer her clients. And also we have businesses as well that we can partner with her and bring her in as an expert as well. So it's symbiotic, and that's kind of how we met, and we're still exploring that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
then anybody
appreciate.
wants his information,
Well, we're going to give him a
direct
little,
message
even
me
though
and I'll send it to you.
he doesn't want to take your time, and he's not going to. But we're going to let you broadcast just for a second.
Thank
What's
you,
the name of
Jim.
your company, James?
Our call is Eat, Play, Go. We're America's largest discount and savings network. EatPlayGo.com.
I love it. Keep in touch with us.
Nice.
Maybe we'll have you on a show one night. Thank you so much
I
for
would love to
calling.
do that.
Yes.
Hey,
Have a good night.
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks,
do it.
Jim.
I'll do an email to introduce you guys.
There you go. We
Sounds
appreciate
good.
that. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
Jim. He has a personality on. You can hear it in his voice.
So sweet. Yeah. And it's been tremendous. I've been corresponding with people from an eclectic mix of a few things: workers' comp, risk, training and development, healthcare, even outside of benefits brokers, like new things that are coming into play for individuals that are part-time gig employees that can't afford it, or companies don't want to pay it. I'm floored at the amount of opportunity to be able to collaborate with all these
You
other
create
individuals.
this. It's not just that it's there. You make it happen. Lisa does, I do.
Yeah.
When you join these networking groups, whatever, you stand in a corner, or
Yeah.
for that matter, you're the last on the Zoom picture, and you don't talk, and you don't recommend, and you don't participate. You get nothing out of it.
Right.
Lisa, yourself, it's myself. We do that. We get people all revved up about what it is that we do, and they want to find out more. So then we go what's called one-on-ones, as we all have done. All
Yep.
right, and we do it, and that's why I can put people, even Lisa. Lisa, I've known for 9 years. I met her at a network group.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
We met at networking, and then just recently he asked me to be his co-host. So how
She
can
was
you
on the
refuse that?
show.
I was on the show.
She was on
That's
the show
awesome.
before.
Yep.
I think back in November or October of 22. And I said to her, why don't you ever recommend somebody? Oh, yeah, call this Mike Weiner guy at NRG. Bingo,
Yep.
and that's it.
Nice.
Yep.
So that's
And
all.
Well,
that's
if you
set
need
off.
somebody to help you out, if you're on vacation, Lisa, you let me know, or Norm, the same. Just let me know. That'd be
Okay.
fun, right?
Actually, I'm going to be
Yes.
down in Florida in November around the 22nd, 23rd. I'm going to be down in Fort Lauderdale area. I'm going
Nice.
on vacation, and we're flying down there to leave from there. So we got some family we're going to go see, and we're going to make that happen. All right, we're not done with you. We got plenty more to go with you yet, but believe it or not, it's
Yes.
almost half the show's almost gone. We have
Oh
like
my
another
gosh.
2 minutes or so. We've already been on for half the show. W- What industries, of all the industries that you've been in, which industries do you enjoy, or industry do you enjoy the most? What would you like to
Hmm.
specialize in benefits? If you had it, they said, all right, pick two industries that you want to specialize in that have special benefits, special rules, yada yada.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've kind of liked them all. It sounds crazy. I've kind of liked them all. I mean, having worked for 3 PEOs, the outsourcing world,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much that you learn on a daily basis. Like you come in with your to-do list, and then literally it's like you got a CEO from one company is calling you about this issue, and then you have somebody with the payroll, system issue, or somebody who needs issue with the claim or wants to submit an FMLA request, and you're working with other divisional teams. Like it's nice. And again, I go back to that. Like I kind of like the busyness, the transactional portion, but I do also like the creative side of thinking with ideas. I'm brainstorming, how we can resolve or how we can build or implement things too. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I would say PEO definitely. I give kudos and thanks to the 3 PEOs I've worked for because I learned a tremendous amount. I would also probably say within healthcare, there's so much to it, even more so. I mean, HR is going to be HR at the majority of organizations and industries across the country. However, when it comes to the healthcare, they have a lot more audits and
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Mhm.
My wife's a
things that
nurse.
come into place.
45
Yeah,
years she's been a nurse, so I hear all the
Yep.
you
stories.
know.
And
the
I,
constantness of
yep,
certifications and all the personnel files. I mean, everybody has to
yes.
have their personnel files, but they're very much into coming in randomly, doing the audits, and you just have to make
Oh, they
sure
don't
that
tell you they're coming. They just show up.
No, they just
show
show
up.
up.
And they'll be like, yeah,
Plenty.
I need these 15 employees personnel files, bring it.
Yep.
You know?
And
They
I was in that medical field at one point. I was a manager of a radiation therapy department way back when and worked in the industry. So we know
Yeah.
all about that. So Norman, it's the bottom of the hour. Do you
It's
think we
crazy.
should take a break?
Yeah, but we got to come right back. All right, we're going to take a break,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, so we can pay some of these bills that Katie's created for us. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just 2 or 3 minutes. Thanks. Hi, everybody. My name is Norman Wasserman, and next to me is Lisa Rodino. Lisa and I host a TV podcast show called The Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man.
So what does the Business Power Hour do? We are here to talk about you and your business. We will put you on air for 1 hour to highlight your business in front of thousands of viewers worldwide, helping you generate more leads to grow your business.
And we do this every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here. What are you doing?
I'm keeping you on point. My name is Lisa Rodino. I am a commercial loan advisor and broker. Have you been finding that your business's cash flow is not where you need it to be? Have you found yourself taking from your personal accounts to meet your business's obligations? Have you found that those quick solutions of quick money are starting to get awfully expensive? My job is to find the right funding products for my clients so they can get back to working in their business and give me the task of finding the best options for their situation. Give us a call today to learn more. 516-268-0350.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friend Entertainment USA. My name is Norman Wasserman. I am also known as the Music Man. Let me just tell you a little bit about Friend Entertainment. We put on concerts for charities, and we do that everywhere from New York to Las Vegas. We do R&B, Motown, rock and roll, jazz, whatever it is that you wish. Friend Entertainment will deliver the best of the best for you and your charity. Here are some of the names of the talent that have performed with us on our stage. Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, The Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire, the one and only ELO, Elton John himself, Kool and the Gang, and the fabulous Donna Summer. Go to our website, friendentusa.com. That's www.friendentusa.com, or feel free to call us at 631-698-9696. 631-698-9696, and we'll see you at the next show. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man, and our special guest, Katie Corum from SOAR
having trouble there,
HR.
Norm?
I think you might say Casey and the Sunshine Band or something.
That's it. Actually, they just called during intermission. I was having a conversation. No, I wasn't. Cather Williams.
jamming
You know
out.
what Cather Williams?
Do I know Kathy Williams?
Cather. It says Cather. And maybe she meant Catherine. Catherine Williams?
I know a Kathy Williams.
Okay, let's try that. If Kathy Williams, you called in before also. We missed the call. We welcome you to call us back. 631-698-9. No, let's do it this one. 631-987-8477. 631-987-8477. All right, so let's continue. So we found out kind of like your most favorite industries.
Mhm.
Okay, which is really you didn't really answer the you were being cat and you were
Well, I
nice
said
to you were nice
healthcare
to
and-
everybody. That's what you were.
Mhm.
You and I,
Yeah.
and that's who you
Healthcare
are.
and PEO.
Okay, healthcare and PEO. PEO industry is really nuts.
It's-
I mentioned to
yeah.
you earlier when I decided to leave human HR recruiting.
Yep.
I had a phone call from one of the consultants that I used to deal with and said that he had a client in New Jersey that's a PEO, and he wanted to switch back to being a staffing firm. So now you got to do whole kinds of check. And he didn't tell me that the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the IRS were also looking for him to become something that he
Oh
didn't
my
want to
gosh.
be.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, that was an
Yes.
interesting time for about 3 months. So
Yeah.
that was it. So yeah, PEO
There's
is a
always
lot
some
of
good
fun.
stories.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
let's discuss why you're in your position. Why did you decide that this is the profession that you
Yeah.
wanted to be in?
Um, I
And don't
think
tell me because you wanted to help people. There's more to it
no,
than just that.
no. I mean that's the foundation of why I got into HR, but why I wanted to start my own HR consulting company. Um, it gets, I mean, there's always politics and egos everywhere.
No,
And
but
I
when
can
you
be a
were a little
chameleon.
girl, and you were
Yeah.
deciding what to do, what led
Yeah.
you down here?
What led me to Florida or what led
No,
me
led
to,
you to the profession that you're in currently.
oh, I thought we were talking about that earlier. Like I always knew I liked helping people and
You've been saying
a friend
besides
of
the
the
helping
family.
people, that there was more to that.
Yeah, well, we already spoke on that. So
Oh,
that was a friend of the family who went to college and she was going in HR. And then I changed from occupational therapy into HR at the end of my sophomore year after speaking with her and then also some other individuals within that field that were studying that field of HR.
I never heard of what a predictive index test is. What is that?
So people will do them for interviews. Recruiters sometimes may ask individuals to do PIs. So it's one of those where the first page you check off the boxes of the things of how you feel people see you. Artistic, creative, grumpy, happy. And then after you check off all the
Well,
boxes,
let's
then
hold
the
for
next
1 second.
page.
You got another phone call.
Oh,
Good
okay.
evening and welcome to the Business Power Hour. Who can I say is calling? Don't be bashful, Blanca. Can you hear me? Hello.
Nope, I heard a hang up.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Well, we know the
They
phone
being
works because we
shy?
had 2 other calls. Okay, Blanca, try us again. 631-987-8477. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I lost my
so
train of
help. So you were talking about the PI and personality
Oh,
testing and all
yeah,
of that, which
yes.
yeah.
So it's just something to get to understand somebody's a little bit about how they think and how they interact with others. Are they a little more quiet and reserved? Are they more like, I want to be at the front of the line, I want to be the one implementing, I want to do this, that. And it's funny, I actually did a PI test once with this gentleman up in Martin County, just north of Palm Beach County. And he just has the most contagious, like kind of goofy, funny laugh. And you can't help, like you start laughing with him. It's like, I can't even imitate. I can't
Hey,
even do
laugh
it
like this.
justice. But it's like really goofy. And he calls me up and he's like, yeah, I got your results back. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And your results were not the normal one. And he's like,
Oh no.
I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean? And then I'm like, is it bad? What? And he's like, well, most HR professionals who are in their profession don't like people. He's like,
Oh
What?
you, on
no.
the other hand, are
That's
a little
crazy.
bit of both creative and analytical. You like people. I'm like, I do. Yeah. And he's just laughing. And I'm like laughing with
I
him
think that
because
guy
his
needs
laugh
to
is so
take the
contagious.
test.
Yeah, he does. He's a character. He's awesome though. But yeah, I kind of am. I'm a little bit creative and a little bit analytical. And usually when you meet people, they're either one or they're the other, but not always
Well,
half and half.
it sounds like you grew up with brothers.
Four
Four
cuatro
of them. I have
hermanos.
5. I
Oh,
have
God
5
bless
of
you.
them. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I'm sure they helped you get molded into what you are. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I think that and having been a competitive Irish dancer for 16 years. Yeah.
Do you still do
yeah.
that?
Oh no.
That
Maybe
is
it,
so cool. Irish
maybe
dancing is so cool.
maybe for family parties or something.
Or when you had a little bit too much to drink.
No, I
What
haven't,
about your little one? Will she be an Irish dancer?
you know, that kid is something else, man. She only took 3 months of tap, jazz, and ballet, and the kid has all of a sudden breaking out one day. She started doing break dancing, and my husband and I were at a restaurant at the Planet Hollywood in Orlando like
Right.
2 years ago. And we thought out of the corner of our eye that she fell, and we're like, oh, we both gasped. And then we look, and she's breakdancing, and we're like, wait, what? And we just started laughing. And then it's like she'll do these things. You know, we were packing up because Hurricane Ian was coming to Florida, you know, the end of last summer, and he's throwing the patio furniture in the pool because that's what us Floridians do. You throw your furniture in the pool, and
Cement pool, I hope.
yeah, right. And she just starts dancing around her little raincoat, and it's like this Bollywood music comes on, and she starts doing expressionistic dancing. Like, what is this?
Oh, no.
And how old is she?
She just turned 5 in
Oh
January.
my gosh, it's so
Mm.
cute.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. She might have a talent I don't. I mean, I have her in a high chair at like 18 months, and she was like clicking to some hip hop rap music. So it's like the girl has rhythm. It took me years to find rhythm. She has it.
She was born with it.
Yeah,
Ah.
so we gotta let her be. She's me at 30, in my 30s. She
Does
already
your husband dance?
knows what she wants.
I guess that's a no.
It
Maybe
sounds
not.
like it.
No, but he's my MacGyver. He can fix anything in the car, the house,
That's
anything.
great to have one of those.
Yeah,
Yep.
Those are
Those are handy.
terrific.
yeah, I'm lucky. He's an engineer, so he has
Oh,
that
all right.
engineering
That's
mind.
cheating.
You
You
know?
didn't
Oh,
say that.
beautiful.
That's cheating, though.
Yeah.
So, are there any hot topics back to, let's get back to
Mhm.
you a little bit. So, are there any hot topics in HR for 2023 that are
Ooh,
really the top of mind for folks?
Yes. So there's a lot, you know, especially with COVID, it's changed the whole dynamic of,
Yeah.
you know, work in HR as it is. So diversity and inclusion, you know, a lot of people are seeing and hearing DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. That's already been an important thing over the course of the last few years. I think with, you know, the George
Mhm.
Floyd incident and various other incidents. It's going to be a matter of corporations and companies and businesses making sure that they're hiring and retaining candidates and new hires accordingly, allowing people of various different backgrounds, ethnicities, make sure they have a strong culture, that they allow for people of different opinions and backgrounds to feel comfortable within the workplace. So that's going to be really important. And continuing on. Another hot topic, the remote work, right? So
Oh, yeah.
COVID happens, everybody's freaking out, like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And everybody instantly has to go to working remotely. Some companies still allow it, and then we've been seeing on the news a lot of the big corporations now earlier this year are trying to get employees to come back. Some of these employees are not wanting to come back.
Right.
Some are still dealing with, you know, some concerns of health issues or mental issues, which kind of, you know, ties in with the other thing, is making sure on the mental health and well-being. So
Right.
it's been interesting because on that, and just to talk benefits for 2 seconds, but most corporations don't realize that they're allowed to be able to get EAP, an employee assistance program, set up typically through their insurance, whether they offer a basic life insurance or they offer a short-term or long-term disability. Typically, it could be tied in, and it's at minimal cost. But at least that would allow the employees to be able to do that. I met with a owner, Dr. Ann, and her husband Bob, who started a company called Health Karma, which is amazing, and they're helping the gig workers and the part-time employees that you know, can't necessarily get their own benefits, you know, through the company, that they're offering these benefits at a very affordable rate. And one of the things with that is the mental health. So individuals typically, if you're working for a big corporation, you get a 1-800 number. You call this 1-800 number. You end up getting a list from them of your geographic area or the specialized doctor you need to speak with. And with this other corporation, they have a line available 24/7. So you don't have to get a list to call somebody and then have to wait like, 6 weeks to go see them. So I think that's important. I think just thinking outside of the box on different ways of retaining employees, different ways of motivating employees, different ways of letting employees know that they're cared for, that they do mean something, that their lives do matter. And it's not just a matter of unlimited PTO or making sure a company's contributing 50% or more to medical insurance. Companies really have to start considering thinking outside of the box and what else they can be doing. Another
Question.
thing is the training and development. So technology, I know SHRM had just announced it early this year that one of the things they were talking about was technology has to change. And what I mean by that, having worked for PEO and having been a director of HR for 10 plus years for corporations, companies have to use these systems better. I'm finding some of the small to mid-sized businesses, when I get in there and I'm reviewing their benefits and their payroll systems, I want to make sure they're getting the best bang for their buck on cost. But then I also am seeing that sometimes they're not utilizing everything that they signed their contract for. And companies have to start streamlining and utilizing those electronic onboarding systems so that they can start focusing at hand on the employees. Soft skills are still lacking with current employees as well as new candidates coming in.
What do you mean by soft skills?
Just like the basics of communication, having to do the corresponding or collaborating with others, the follow-up of projects that they're working on, etc. But another thing is upskilling is what they're calling. Since COVID, individuals that normally would be in a workplace that would get basic trainings, whether it's business ethics or harassment training or this or that, have gone from 14 to 44% in that first year that COVID happened, of employers now wanting to make sure. Now, I'm sure that number has gone up significantly. I'm just talking that first year of COVID. But now companies are getting it. Like, oh my gosh, if we're going to do this and we're going to allow employees to be working remotely, we have to find other ways. Like, how do we do this if they're offsite and I need to make sure that I'm managing them, but not micromanaging them, and also making them feel that I'm leading them and that they're still being developed further. They're not there just to collect a paycheck. They also want to be trained and developed. So I find either, the trainings through systems or doing the trainings on site for companies are beneficial, and they're seeing the value in that now too, because they need to think outside of the box. So all these things that have been available for so long, now companies are starting to take it more seriously, because the dynamic of the world has changed since COVID.
Let me ask another question now, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Unions. Yeah. Have you ever worked in HR for a union shop?
Well, I used to work for Waste Management. So many years ago, I used to work for Wayne Huizinga's waste management company in downtown Fort Lauderdale.
So what do you think now, because I'm not going to mention the name, but there is a international food company, a retail food company, manufacturing food company, that doesn't want their stores to unionize. And there's big stuff going on in the courts regarding all this. Any opinion?
I mean, it's been a little while since I've worked in union or with them. The one thing is they can't force them not to. I mean, that's where they get in trouble, right?
Well, that's what's going on.
Yeah, as much as employers don't want to, you can't stop what potentially can happen. I mean, one of my brothers works for a union. He works for
No, unions are great. I think unions are a very strong situation, helping a lot of people. But like you said, you can't stop them, but it's becoming an international now employment situation.
Yeah, we watched someone recently in the news. They closed the shop to avoid a union. Now they have to pay.
Yeah.
And we found another one who went in front of Congress to discuss why and why not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things, though. In order to retain employees, You have to make sure that they're being compensated accordingly.
Correct.
Money is only one thing. Most of the time that studies have been done, it's not compensation that's number one on the list. It's actually healthcare. That is usually the majority of the most important reason why. Now, because of what's happened with the pandemic, now it's flexibility, right?
Right.
Health insurance and flexibility.
Well, you
Being able
can't
to
work
take
out
care
of your
loved
house
ones.
in an organization like this. So that's off the charts regarding this particular company. You know, that you can't do. In other companies, you might be able to. But I don't know what the complaints are, why they're looking to set up a union shop. I hear stories because I frequent a bunch of the stores. But, you know, it's crazy. Employees can't ask for certain things or they're not supposed to ask. But I can go to one of these stores and then 3/4 of a mile I can go to the same store. All right, same company, and I'm paying a different price for the same exact drink. Why is that okay? They're not looking. It's a rhetorical question.
Who knows?
You know,
That's not a question for Katie. Come on.
I wanted
No,
just
but
her
I
opinion.
mean,
We're into
it's,
expressing opinions on this particular show.
you know, it's kind of like if we were referring to benefits sometimes too. I know a lot of amazing brokers down here in South Florida, and I try to keep in touch with people of all different industries and of the same industries, because really at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's not about them, it's about the prospective client. What's their company size? What's their budget? You know, what are they truly looking for? And brokers typically can get the same rates because it's usually the census, right? That they gather that information of the company, the head count, how many males, females, all that good stuff. It comes down to service, right? Are they servicing the clients? How much are they going to go above and beyond? You know, like like myself, what differentiates you from the guy next door or the gal next door? And that's where you have that moment to do your own footprint for your organization, to be able to wow them and just go above and beyond, you know?
So what is one of the most memorable constructive comments a manager has ever given you?
Well, there was one I didn't like many years ago, early in my career. They said, work smarter, not harder. Yeah, but that was where we, went from 175 employees to 550 in 10 months. So, it's kind of like, yeah, did I feel like a machine, a little bit? Yeah, a little, but, working with the mergers and acquisition, you have to get this stuff done. So I knew it wasn't going to be forever, but sometimes when you know what the goal is and the forecasting is for an organization, to be able to prepare for that and know okay, this is where we want to be at and this is the time slot we have to do it. Knowing it's not permanent, it's temporary, but you just have to buckle up and get her done, It's just, it's a team. And I think all those years of, dancing and sports and all that, with my brothers and myself and doing all those competitions, it's like you want your friends to, rely on you and you on them. And it's a partnership.
Katie, where do you perform your services? Is it nationwide, just in Florida? Or do you have to be licensed to do what you're doing?
Nationwide, yeah. Yeah. Although I do have dual citizenship, so I mean, who knows, Norman? I could start thinking big picture, outside of the U.S. You never know. You're planting that seed out there for me. Oh.
So you said it's only Florida currently?
No.
No. I have clients outside of Florida as well.
What states are you in?
Well, what happens is one of my clients is actually it's Equestrian here in Florida, and then they have employees in other states. And then I also have one in New York, possibly another one to come. But yeah, they're spread out, speaking with others in the Midwest and also in the Carolinas.
Right, so you don't have limitations.
I do not have limitations. HR is everywhere.
The only limitations is that each state has different rules. And they create limitations.
Yes.
So you really got to be on top of things.
Yes. Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah, the handbooks are definitely important. A lot of small business owners are like, oh, I did handbook 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be updating that annually. And there's so much change happening in this country that, you know, state specific, county specific, like people might not even know in Florida, it's like, oh, there's no rule on jury duty, but there is if you live in Dade County and Broward County. In fact, I had, last year before I started my own company, I was working for a company that had an employee who lived in Fort Lauderdale, even though they worked in West Palm. And because they got the jury duty from, you know, Fort Lauderdale, from Broward County, the company has to abide by that. So, yeah, I mean, there's different stipulations and things that happen. California, now it's based on municipalities, you know.
Crazy.
It's just, it's ever evolving.
So you're
Ever
really
evolving.
you're
Yeah.
really out there.
But that's why you need us, because we like to,
Just going to say,
know,
you're making
like
things
to-
happen, and you're on top of everything that's going on in your profession. And again,
I'm
if people
trying.
want to reach you, right, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the number is 1-800-684-7784. Or you can check me out on our company on www.soar-hr.com, or email me, Katie, Katie.Corum, Corum, at soar, SOAR-hr.com.
Well,
And what's the phone number again?
Okay, 1-800-684-7784.
Great.
well, listen to the crowd. They're really loving you. They don't want you to
Yay.
go. That's terrific.
so-
Now, before you go,
Yeah.
do you have any events coming up? If people want to get to see you, besides just reaching you, you have any special events, or do you plan any lectures or seminars that you're going to do over the internet or locally?
Yeah, I think I might be doing a few things. This month, I am actually going to be the sponsor for the Central Chamber of Commerce and Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in Wellington. So I'm going to be speaking, I think April 18th it is, at their event. And then, and sorry, they merged. Central Chamber of Commerce and Hispanic Chamber of Commerce merged recently. But yes, I'll be their sponsor. And then also, I am going to be a speaker moderator for an HR forum event in the Ritz-Carlton in Fort Lauderdale,
Nice.
April 19th and 20th. So I'm super excited. I've never been a speaker moderator, so that's kind of fun.
It's kind of
getting
similar to this. So
Huh?
you're going to do real fine, because you just did real fine tonight. And we
Yes,
want to
Aw,
thank you
and-
so
you.
much.
And
for-
they wouldn't give that honor to anyone that didn't have experience. So you must be well sought after.
and likable.
done.
And
Thank
likable.
you.
And you
Yeah,
certainly
I'm
are.
humbled and blessed, and I keep an open mind. It's not just me. It's about me helping and serving others, and then the rest will follow. So again, you know, I hope to be able to help many, not one corporation with HR. And if there's something I can't do, I will most definitely keep others in mind for
Well,
it
you did
too.
a great job tonight, so you certainly can do
Excellent.
another podcast.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
Thank
All
thank
right,
you
we
so
thank you
much. I
very,
really
very much
appreciate
for
it.
being on the Business Power Hour tonight, and we wish you a lot of good luck. A very happy
Oh,
Easter to you and your family.
Thank
Wish
you.
you all the
Thank you.
best, and just to hang in there as
You too.
Lisa and I say goodnight, and say hello to or say goodnight to our fans. All
Yeah.
right, so
Thank
hang
you,
in
everyone.
there.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Lisa.
Our,
Thank you,
our
Norman.
pleasure. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Very
Thank you.
welcome.
What an informative show tonight.
Yes.
Really, I hope
I mean,
people
there
were
was,
taking notes. If they don't take notes, they're gonna have to call Katie and ask her to
yes.
repeat herself, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of
and-
information. You're not on the show anymore. Don't say anything. Just listen. You just did a
Yeah.
you did a wonderful job. You really did.
She did a
Aw.
great job tonight. And
Thank you.
it was great having her, and the knowledge that she has. It definitely
Aw.
someone to talk to if you're in business for yourself
Yeah,
or
peop-
considering it.
Companies got to understand. You don't need to go to the major names, because major names are only made up of people like Katie. You know, and
Right.
they're the ones
I
that.
was networking like crazy today, sending out text
There
messages
you
and
go.
emails
But
and everything to
that's what
everybody.
that's what it's all
That guy
about.
Jim Carrey, I didn't want to he's awesome. I just met him recently,
You sound like a
but
really
I didn't
good
want
guy.
to like use the competitor name. But you know, you ever heard of Tickets to Work?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So like sometimes, you know, big corporations might have a company that they use or a vendor that'll offer like discounted hotels, discounted car rentals, discounted movie passes, discounts to certain stores that they can purchase things from. Excuse me, and maybe it's a Florida company, tickets to work. But Jim and I were speaking on the phone a few weeks ago, and I said, what differentiates you from these competitors? And he said, you know what, Katie? These other competitors, like some of those companies.
The Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man is sponsored by Media Stations. Create your own media and have your own station. To get started with your own content, call or text 516-448-2066. That's Media Stations in Bohemia, New York.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. That was a
Goodbye,
boo-boo.
everyone.
All
We'll
right.
see you next
Katie,
time.
you did well. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
happy
you.
Easter. Lisa,
This
enjoy
was
your
fun.
holiday. Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.